Well, good morning, everyone. Hello. Boy, it is Friday, and I kind of miss everybody. I haven't been online in, I think, about maybe a week or so. And right out of the gate here, I want to apologize for rescheduling this past Wednesday's free masterclass. It was inevitable. It happened once before, and it happened again. And I make no guarantees that it won't happen again in the future. So bear with me. So I will talk about that momentarily, but I just want to welcome everyone to Rapid Fire Friday. I really do look forward to these opportunities on Friday. So as much as it pained me to reschedule the Wednesday masterclass, you can be assured that I will always be here on Fridays in the morning at 10 a.m. For those new members, you're probably wondering, what is Rapid Fire Friday? Very quickly, it's an opportunity for me to come online. And what I do is I answer 5 questions from the past week, whether it be something related to decorating techniques, perhaps some interaction with my clients, wonderments, suggestions, things that I just see that are in conversations over the last week. So it's really fun. I try to keep it to 10 minutes, but most of the time I go over, which is fine. So I'm here to help you and serve you. So for those that don't know me personally, my name is Annette Conrad. I am the owner and lead creative and virtual instructor for Edible Impressions, a company I founded over 17 years ago. And yes, I started as a hobby. So I created this community, honestly, for me to be able to share my love and passion for all things cookie decorating, and honestly to share my journey and share with those that are interested in taking their side gig to potentially their livelihood, or for those that just want to expand a little bit their hobby into a side business and want to bring in some extra cash flow for their family. So welcome everyone. I'm so excited to see the community grow, and I really do appreciate you all being here, and hello to those watching the replay. I know there are a lot of people watching the replay because this is Friday at 10 a.m. and I know a lot of people are working at their full-time positions. So thank you so much. Well, we're going to get started. Again, the way this works is I will respond to 5 questions or wonderments in about 10 minutes or so. We'll see. And after each question, I will ring the bell. So let's get right to it. So the first question is, it was a request for help, and it says, I know you guys will understand, working on a graduation set this morning, and I dropped 3 of them on the floor, a sad face with the teardrop. I just want to cry. Now I have to bake for 3 cookies. So here is this situation that I see. What I would ask is, first of all, I have no idea how many cookies are in this particular order, and you absolutely have to use your discretion. You know your clients the best. You have to determine if this is a first-time client that they've ordered for the first time for you, or perhaps if it's a repeat client. So use your judgment. That's my little disclaimer here. Obviously, I don't have all the information, but this has happened to me. And I'm sure it's happened to every cookier somewhere at some point, where you've dropped or you've, ruined the cookie for some reason, or maybe there was color bleed or whatever the scenario, but now you're stuck with starting the process over for 3 cookies. So I feel your pain. But here's the thing. What I would do is look at the variable of that order. Perhaps it's a larger order, and perhaps you've made extras of the other designs. Or perhaps you have other cookies that maybe you've decorated that you have as backup, or maybe you have something in the freezer. So where I'm going with this is that you use your judgment on whether or not you can replace those 3 cookies with 3 other cookies. But here's the thing. I wouldn't replace it with 3 other cookies. I would replace it with 6 cookies. So what I would be doing is I would communicate with my client. You'd be very transparent, again, based on the variables of the order. Is this something that you can, or do you even want to approach your client to, let them know that, number one, there may not be enough time to recreate those. You always want to take in consideration, do you even have time to start over? I understand this gal works full time. She has children. So it's not that easy just to start that process over, even if it's just 3 cookies. It's a process. We all know that. So again, use your best judgment, but maybe you can offer to give them other designs. Or, you can give them extra cookies of maybe a completely different design. But, bottom line is 3 cookies, depending on how big the order is, it may not be that big of a deal. Okay, so that was kind of my my first, response to that. And then the gal did reach back out and she said that they were plaques, part of a graduation order that was going to say class of 2022. So yeah, that's a pretty, important, it's meaningful, it's memorable, it kind of completes the set. But here's the thing, again, can you supplement with other cookie shapes or designs and then maybe take that class of 2022 and make that as a tag or a sticker? So again, there are options, but again, decide what you're going to do. Decide if you're going to communicate with that client. Do not surprise them. So if you're going to be, alternating, make sure you communicate with that client first, and then, you can get to that. So her and I had a longer conversation about, and I'm not going to go on right now about, how long it took me to transition from my hobby to business. That is, for another time, but really, really nice conversation that her and I had after that. Okay, that was question number 1. Hello, I just want to say good morning to Mary and Karen and Michelle. I really do appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. And hello to those that are watching the replay. If you have any questions while I go through these questions or want to go deeper, just put that in the feed and post event. I always go back in and answer any questions. Okay, here's the question number 2. I have been asked to make 25 dozen firefighter cookies to deliver to 24 firehouses. Wow, that's a lot of locations before August 1st. I work full time, and to do this, and I do this on the side, I have picked 10 different designs I like. What would you do? Pick 4 designs for 12 dozen, switch up the designs for the other 13 dozen, bake all at once, freeze, decorate the first 12 dozen, then start over another round. So boy, this is a loaded question. I don't know if you've been watching the trial here, any trials, you know how they'll object and say compound. What that means is you're asking a lot of questions, one after the other. So that's a lot to respond to, but really what I focused on is really determine, first of all, do you want to take that order? Do you have the capability to take that order? That's a lot of cookies. That's a lot of locations. So my question is, that's just my curiosity, is I want to know more before I can advise this person on how to tackle this job. So what you want to consider now is, okay, you might want to freeze. Someone may say recommend to freeze, but do you even have enough freezer space? Do not underestimate how much space that freezing 25 dozen cookies, decorated cookies, even non-decorated cookies will take. So I'm all about advanced planning, and believe me, for years I didn't freeze cookies, and I could have saved a lot of nights and long weekends, but honestly, it takes up a lot of space. So, do you even have that space? What I would do is I would not do 10 different designs. I would, narrow down. It's quality, not quantity. It's quality, not quantity. My next question is going to go a little bit into, less is more. And then what did I say here? Freezing was kind of a mistake on my part when I first started off. Like I said, I stayed up a lot of late nights, and even now with the high volume, I still don't freeze much. It's very rare that I freeze, only because I have a team. I have people that help me now. So when I do have those large jobs, we're planning ahead, and we're, I have people helping. So it's not just me where I would have to plan and work ahead. Now we can make them much closer to the order due date because I just have people helping. So, bottom line is, and I'll move on to the next question, is, are you ready for this big order? Okay. Just keep in mind, when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And my big question here, and we really didn't go back and forth, is 24 different locations. I'm wondering if she's delivering or if that's being shipped. Again, keep in consideration your cost for shipping. That's another conversation. But like I said, that question was really loaded, but I just wanted to pull that out and just touch a little bit on how to tackle that. So again, to tell her when to start and how to freeze and when to freeze, it's really hard without knowing all of the variables to that question. Okay, so moving on, let's see. Okay, the next one is not necessarily a question, but it kind of piggybacks off what I was just talking about this last question. It's just a little moment of reflection for me and my team. So it has to do with all about this less is more. And as I look at this last week, okay, and this is the number one reason why I rescheduled that free masterclass, because there just wasn't enough time in the day. Okay, and I say day because we were not up late night at all, which I'm really proud of. But in the last 7 days, I keep track of all my orders on a spreadsheet. So this is a backup to my backup. And so it's just really nice at a glance. I can see what's coming up, how many cookies, what's the presentation, is it being local pickup or is it being shipped? So very quickly, and it also helps me plan. But here's my point. When I look at this year and this, this season of graduation in comparison to last year's, we are just rocking it here at Edible Impressions. Less is more. I remember the days and when we did not have a set design for graduation. And right now we do take, custom, from scratch orders. But the last couple of years, I decided to create a landing page for my graduation offers. Okay. So what happened is I narrowed down. Okay. I narrowed down and I kind of made recommendations to folks to order graduation on a particular landing page. They could go right to purchase, right to pay online. They chose the size that they wanted. They chose the presentation. And let me tell you, in the end, it has saved so much time. Okay. So by offering less, you're actually going to be creating more time. It's going to be definitely more efficient because you're not bouncing around. You're not making all these different colors necessarily and all these different designs. It's going to be less labor, even though I have a team and I'm paying my team obviously to help with executing these orders. But because it's a very similar design, and we're just talking about various schools, but the graduation caps, the diplomas, and the logos. I mean, that is it. That is what we were doing this year for graduation in the last couple of years. They're getting faster, okay? I'm pretty fast. They're getting faster because it's repetitive. It's the same designs over and over. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's so boring to do the same. There's so many cool designs. And believe me, I see those really awesome, amazing graduation designs, but some of them are so detailed and involved and they're so different. And many of these sets have 6 or 8 or 12 different designs in one set, and they're personalizing. And I'm not about not personalizing, but when you want to, if you're in this to have it be your livelihood and you're in to make profit and to, take care of your family, you have to really zone in on, providing a high quality product, but how can you do it in the most efficient and effective way? So yeah, you might get a little tired of the particular design or designs year after year. And frankly, we've had the same design for several years, but your audience is new every year. Okay. It's a new class coming in and, and the cookies are beautiful and they taste delicious. So I'm not bothered by the fact that it is, very similar. It just works. And every year is proof of that because we get more and more orders of that same design that we've offered. So keep that in mind. So, and then here's the thing, when you do something like this, when you're ready to have a team, when you're ready to have people help you, it's a lot easier to, I apologize for that, just let that ring. It's a lot easier to delegate. So now your team knows exactly what the plan is and they know what the cookies look like. They've done it before and they're just going to be faster. Okay, sorry about that. We've got lots of pickups, but I know my husband is here kind of manning the door here. So, okay, so here's on to the next one. So question for you cookiers. I have a graduation set coming up and they want a specific grad cookie. It'll be $10 shipping for the cookie cutter. So her question is about the cookie cutter. Does she purchase the cookie cutter specifically for this order? And does she extend the fee onto the client? I love this question. So there was a lot of input on this question. So there are a lot of folks that said, yes, charge your client. There are some people that said, don't charge your client. Some people said, go ahead and hand cut out the cookies. Some of them says, use a different shape. So there was a lot of technical, like how to execute. It's all helpful. Don't get me wrong. All of it's very helpful, but you know me, I like to dig a little deeper and I like to look beyond the question. So, my question was really what you need to consider here is when you have the scenario, you need to think in your mind, it's a mindset. Are you a hobbyist or are you going to be are you doing this for a business? Okay. The reason I ask that is what you don't want to do is kind of, I don't want to say the word bother because it sounds like a negativity word. I don't like negative words, but you don't want to bother, I guess, your client with all the behind the scenes. They don't care where you're getting the cookie cutter from, okay? If you're saying you do custom design cookies, then do custom design cookies. Don't bother the client with letting them know now you have to go buy a cookie cutter. It's going to cost you extra. And now you're going to, pass that on to the client. Don't do that, because your clients are going to get completely turned off by that. They're going to be like, wait a minute, what? Isn't that her business? Why are they bothering me with that? So again, it's kind of like don't nickel and dime. Maybe you've heard that term before, but they don't need to know all the behind the scenes workings of your business. So incorporate those costs or those expenses. And this is a true cost expense. A lot of times I talk about investments. Cookie cutters are an expense. Bottom line, they're an expense, but they can turn into profit if you price accordingly. So always leave a little bit of margin for when you need to purchase something custom to execute that order. And honestly, with graduation, it's a very, very popular theme. So I'm sure that you will use that cookie cutter over again. So I would definitely, and here's the thing, is if you are going to purchase that cookie cutter, take some really good pictures of that set when you're done, and take some with and without the personalization. So if you are personalizing that set, make sure you take it both ways so that you can have more of a generic graduation set that you can publicize to then market so that you can get more orders specifically for that cookie cutter. And then you will pay for that cookie cutter 10 times over. So with profit. Okay. Boy, I feel like I'm going a little bit long-winded, but the last one's actually pretty short. So thank you so much. And thanks again for those that are watching, and I appreciate your time. So here's a question about anyone using a digital app or system to keep track of their cookie cutters. So we're on cookie cutters again. I'm looking for ideas and suggestions, please. So I've been in business for over 17 years, and in the last maybe 5 or 6 years, we've been creating our own cookie cutters with 3D technology printing. So you can imagine, after collecting for, let's say, 12 years of purchasing a lot of cookie cutters and then starting to make them, we have a lot of cookie cutters. I mean, we have thousands, because of course, once you get all the designs, you think if you have all the designs that could possibly be asked about, now we have different sizes for all the different presentations. And we certainly do customize, particularly for company logos, which we do have their permission when we do that. So we have thousands. So how on earth do we keep track of all of those? Well, we use iPhoto on the Mac, and we take pictures of all the cookie cutters. We do group them, we do number them, and then we use keywords attached to each of those cookie cutters and then number them so that individual cookie cutters in a bag are numbered, and then the bins that the bags are in are numbered. So really, literally what I can do is I go up to the computer, I type in, let's say, animals. All of the animals will come up. If I want to be more specific and I just want to see the dogs, I can say dogs. Only the dog cookie cutters will come up. It is wonderful. It is a huge time saver. It is something that you have to work on. It's something that's ongoing as you increase your inventory. But if you keep up on it, really it is a time saver in the end. So no fancy apps. All computers come with a photo system, and you can put in keywords. And that really is the way that we keep track. So all of our cookie cutters are in bins. They're up on a shelf, and I go to the computer, type in the number, and then I can go find that bag very quickly. And there are multiple cookies in a bag. All right. So those are the 5 questions. Again, I went way over time, but a couple really last quick updates. So again, I will be back on Wednesday, the 25th. And we are talking all about how you may be leaving money on the table if you are not communicating with your clients with confirmation agreements, order confirmation. So I'll talk a little bit about that. I know not the most exciting thing, but it is really super important, especially if you're starting off. One of the first things I would tell you to do is get organized on your admin side of your business. Is how are you going to communicate with your client? How are you going to make it easy for them to communicate the expectations of those orders? And then, very exciting, we have some media coverage coming up, which I'm really excited about. So the Leukemia Lymphoma fundraiser that I am involved in is quickly coming to a close. So please, if you'd like to participate, please go to edibleimpressions.net/fundraising. We are still selling our cookie decorating kits in support of the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. I'm on a team for Kim Paulson. And if you go down in the feed in the community, you can see a little bit more about that. But I'm really excited that Kim, as she's been nominated as the Woman of the Year, is going to be on the Morning Blend here in Milwaukee next Thursday on May 26th. So I will post the link If you can watch it live, great. If not, I will definitely put the replay, but she's going to give Edible Impressions a little shout out. She's actually going to be talking about how you can still, through June 9th, purchase a decorating kit that can be gifted to a friend, a family, or you can choose to gift that to a child that is going through cancer treatment. So it's really a nice program. I'm very pleased to say that we are pretty well over $1,500 being donated from Edible Impressions from the purchase of cookie decorating kits, but I will definitely put an announcement out on that as we get closer. And then next Friday, I'm really excited for a in-person event with some kids for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society fundraiser. So I'm really excited to get back to some in-person teaching. So if you have interest, if you are local and would have an interest in being at a in-person event with me, let me know, because if there is interest, I'm happy to create either a cookie decorating or a one that talks about the business side too. So I'm open to that. So anyway, I think that's it. I went well over the time, and I apologize if you heard the phone ringing before. I did not mute my phone. So we'll catch you soon. Have a great weekend, everybody. It's beautiful. So I'm headed outside after a very long week. Take care.